Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Okay, so part two. You already know, have the petty tea, something to nibble on. Let's go. Because yeah, I went on and off topics, but it's like this is why, like especially when writing books. And it's really scary how a lot of book talkers and booktubers say that there are no politics in writing and or I don't know, it's like I guess maybe I need to wait until my novels are published, but even my children's books, I always think about how can I make my character her own? How can I give her an identity that is of her own, that separates herself and that maybe not define her, but temporarily defines her as she finds her new self or learns her lesson and things like that. And a lot of times it's going through life that has a lot of obstacles that are political. So I don't know, it's like especially now with politics, we're seeing rival political parties accuse the other party of being the villain. And this would be amazing to watch on TV, but not as a reality show. If this was a drama or a horror movie or something like this, because it kind of feels like a horror movie, because the way that we see each other, even though it seems like we both kind of want some of the same things, but at the same time, there are branches of things that one side accepts that the other one doesn't, and or one side worships that the other side doesn't. And then it's ironic how the Republican Party, they mostly Christian people, but at the same time, it seems like they worship their guns, their money, their selfishness more than most of the things that are in the Bible. They'll put down people who God said to help, feed the needy, give to the poor, give unto yourself. It is harder for a camel to get into the, like, yeah, that whole needle thing than a rich person to get to heaven. But then we keep, like, the Republican Party keeps motivating people to get richer to the point where soon we will probably be seeing not just billionaires but trillionaires. But then they love that because they feel like that hurts the Democrat Party. They don't want to wait, like, raise the minimum wage, because then some people are like, well, if they don't want minimum wage, then don't work at the fast food places, don't work these minimum jobs. And even though years ago someone who worked at these fast food places were able to at least afford their rent and things and have a family and not have to stress or get a second job and all of that stuff. But it just seems now that, like, the way that Democrats see Republicans is totally opposite of how they see themselves. And then the way that it seems like they praise possessions, especially with the Second Amendment and things, and then they want like they want to be exclusive when it comes to certain freedoms like freedom of speech. But then if they bully or like mentally or physically harm other people, they tell us to get over it, shut up, be quiet. You remember, you guys are and that's the, I keep catching Republicans tell me, because sometimes when I see that they're writing awful, terrible, ignorant, poorly educated, racist, bigoted things online, and then I correct them. You're supposed to be the nice party. You call yourself a Democrat, but you're supposed to be nice. Okay, so you know you're evil. So you know you're cruel, you're awful, you're a bully. You know you're heartless. You know this already. Because with them saying what they're saying is like, it's, and then even with one of my last episodes talking about food stamps, Do you know how many Republicans I keep saying, oh, I can't wait for them to go hungry. This is going to be interesting. Oh, there's going to be a lot of people that's going to lose weight. They don't need Ozempic. They just need food stamps to be taken away. These are the things I'm reading from Republicans. The same people who go to church like at least most Sundays, or they say they're Christian, or like, but part of me is just like, what's the new definition of Christian? Because they've been trying to suffocate us with a new definition of woke. They act like being woke is a bad thing when, like, the original form of it, and I mean, it's still a good word to Democrats, being aware of humanity and the actions and things around us, and of the racism and bigotry and things that's around us, and the unfairness. It's like the inequality. But maybe it's, I don't, okay. As all of that, like, because even with the ballroom, even with the finances, again with Snap, like, I can't get over the whole Snap thing, because Republicans keep saying how they're Christian and they're going under over Christian beliefs, and but then they, when it comes to the homeless and the needy and the veterans and like the people who are in need, they don't want to help them. I keep reading posts where they're happy. They're like, they want to see people go hungry. They, and just like the woman eating that like crunchy bread or whatever with the peanut butter and butter. Ugh, it's they are. It seems like a lot of them feel the same way she does, and it's really sad. And it's just at a point where, how, like, just like I said in part one, I'm not I'm not saying that I don't love this country, but I love this country so much that I want to fix the areas that need to be fixed. I want it to the point where that we don't have homeless people. And I feel like even if we can, in parts of Detroit, where especially like if we can build new centers where the houses have been demolished, but like, or even partially like run down houses, if they can fix those up and create a nonprofit or create a system for the homeless, and even maybe give them job training and things like that. And then also counseling. It's like, because with a lot of people who turn out homeless, sometimes it's because of job loss, sometimes it's family issues, sometimes it's different things that it's like you need to kind of take that wall down. But then also, speaking of walls and money and the ballroom and all this other stuff, Republicans kept believing that the orange guy, he was like, Mexico's going to pay for the wall. Remember that? Remember that? How much did they pay of that wall? How much? And then a lot of it rusted away and is of no use today. And then the Hispanic community, they're like, we got you. We know how to climb a wall. So then, yeah, it got it, it got interesting. Actually, it got so interesting that it's like some Republicans were even saying, if Kamala Harris, the wonderful Kamala Harris, if she doesn't get back to it, that she doesn't love this country, she's against this country and stuff. And but with what happened with the wall, and how, like, I don't know, just thinking about all of that money that was wasted, where that money could have went, and the lies that we were told about the money, and like the wall, and how it was going to be structured, and how it was going to be so strong and diligent and last long and everything, and that was going to be the solution to our immigration problems and things. That didn't work. Then during COVID, when they voted to give us, like, give everybody that pandemic money, the orange guy said that he wanted his name on it, because he wanted to make sure it looked like he was giving money to people, and it worked. A lot of it, like till this day, do you know how many Republicans have told me that was his money? That was the orange guy's money. He gave us money personally. That shows he loves us. I keep saying he planned like everything that he's done, especially like studying marketing, having an MBA in marketing. There are so many things that isn't just the details. They paid attention, and it's like they know, especially the Republican demographic. It's like there was a I keep seeing different news articles where they asked the orange guy about politics years and years ago, decades ago, and he said if he ever ran, he would be a Republican because they are easily to convince. And it's like, and even when he was running for the first time, he said that he loves the poorly educated. He loves them because they were going to vote for him, because they were going to believe all of the lies and anything that he had to say. And when he was talking about the wall, especially a lot of the colonizers, a lot of the racist, bigots, awful, terrible, inhumane, despicable, heartless people, it's like they wanted that wall because that was going to separate them from people that were not of the same complexion as them. And they jumped at that. They were happy about that. Even though it's like, yeah, we never saw that check from Mexico. They still thought as long as it doesn't hurt us, as long as it only hurts them. But now we also have like the ballroom. And he keeps saying that we're not going to pay for it. But then at the same time, a lot of people do not know the history and where, like, he's getting a lot of the ideas that he's gotten over the years and over both, like, terms. And this is one reason why I've said this so many times in other episodes. Pay attention and also look at his history, because they keep saying that he had one of Hitler's books on his nightstand and he studied it, he learned it. A lot of the things that he's doing right now, he's copying off of dictators. But then everyone was like, oh, he doesn't want to be king. He doesn't want to be a dictator. He does like, look at what he's doing. During his first presidency, people kept coming and going. And when they left, they told us, don't you vote him back in. Did you hear me? They said, don't you vote him back in. He is not the man you think he is. There are things he told us to do. We had to ignore him. We had to pretend. It's like we had to pretend that we were going to do it just to get it off his mind. Do you know how ridiculous that is? Or we had to pretend we were going to do it and then just kind of laugh it off and then go amongst our day and ignore and just like not do what he said to do. Omarosa on Big Brother, she made sure to let everybody know, because while she was eating that good popcorn, talking about, yeah, don't vote, like, yeah, he's not who you think he is. Black women were paying attention. We were watching the show, but we were paying attention too. And I believe it was around 8 to 10 people that worked for him. When they came out, they were like, no, mm-mm. And they were warning us, they were telling us. And even his current vice president, before he realized how much power he could obtain, he was saying how the orange man is today's Hitler. He said that. He said that, but no one wanted to pay attention. But now it's like we have this ballroom that he wants to build, $300 million. So they want to take away from the poor. They want to take away food from the poor and from veterans and the disabled and children. They don't want free lunch for children, but they want a ballroom that most of us will never, ever get to walk into. Is that going to be part of the tour? It's like I want to know, is that going to be part of the tour, or it's like better yet they're creating the orange guy and his sons. They're creating this private club or group. I forgot how much. I think you have to pay like $500,000 to be a part of it. Are they going to allow them to rent the ballroom? It's like for their parties and events. It's like how often is it going to get used? How often? And it's like if that's the countries, we should be able to see what goes on in there. That's what I think. That's my opinion. But $300 million. But then you say that it's not going to be our money. It's going to be sponsored money. But then I remember the Easter. I think it was like, yeah, during the Easter roll or the presidential Easter event, he was looking for sponsors for that. How did that go? How many sponsors did he get? Maybe, you know what? I might look it up and do an update. Like I always say this, but I don't because there's always something else to talk about. So when it comes to the ballroom and then the wall and food stamps, yeah, those three things alone. I mean, there's more when it comes to the money and the poor and things. And kind of back with the whole villain theme, it's really crazy because a lot of the Republicans keep saying how, oh, so now they're gonna need some food. Oh, they're probably gonna steal it. They're probably gonna do this. And I am hearing that some of the people are saying they might go that route, which is wrong. And I'm just hoping, it's like, can we find a solution? Because some like with a lot of the things going on in this country, whenever they try to point out people and put people down, is normally targeted towards black people. Let's see how much we can hurt black people. And then like with the farming, as you can tell, like it was majority of the colonizers who were, we need help, we need socialism and all this. Like they were against socialism until they needed it. And that keeps going on with colonizers. They don't want socialism until they need it, until it's affecting them. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she voted one way, but now it is probably going to be affecting her children. So now she wants to vote the other way. And it's just like, if it affects them, that's all they care about. If it's not going to affect them, they do not care. They could care less. It's like they're gonna basically tell you, toughen up, buttercup. They're gonna tell you it's like you should have worked harder. But this is from the same party who the person they uplift and praise and say all these things about when he was doing his little show and tell at McDonald's. The reporters interviewed him and asked him about the minimum wage. And he said, we don't need to do anything with the minimum wage. They're happy. He was like, they're happy with what they get. They're satisfied. They're good. But then a lot of the people who work at places like McDonald's are on food stamps, need assistance or a second job. If we could just lift the minimum wage to a place where they can afford to live a life, forward to afford get their food, they would no longer need money from the government. But that means we're going to be taking from the rich. They don't want to take from the rich because also remember when the orange guy was at that his little party luncheon before he got voted, before he got in. It was all of his rich people, and it was a some kind of outdoor party or whatever. He said out loud on mic, "Do not worry, I am going to make you richer." I'm paraphrasing, but he said he was going to help them get more money. And if he had to increase the minimum wage, that would take money away from them. It's like the tariffs are making the rich richer. Or it's like the orange guys say it's helping him, but it's not helping people who need to buy groceries and gas and things like that. And then he said like gas prices are the lowest they've been since COVID, but I think they're going back. Yeah. And I was like, I'm not going to say every single thing that he's ever done is bad, but a lot of it is to maintain an appearance. And it also, especially once in a while, he will try to do something to benefit Black people just so those same people cannot say he's racist. Do you know how many times I've heard the colonizers say, he's not racist, he's gave money to the historically Black colleges and universities, even though it was half, but again, marketing. Whenever he does anything for the African American community, even if it's half of what the previous president did, even though he skipped a year of doing it, but once he does it, he wants the world to know because that is going to allow him to appear like he actually cares about the African American community. But also remember when he said Black jobs. He said they are taking Black jobs. Who are the they? Connect the they and then figure it, like, especially when the farmers were saying, farmers, these colonizing farmers were saying that they thought that the people from the inner city were going to come through and start working on their farms because even they knew what the orange guy was talking about. They thought that African Americans were going to all of a sudden go, like, be like, okay, we're going to go back in time and do, like, yeah, the minimum wage and all this other stuff and be treated horribly. Yeah, we're gonna go back to that. No, the long hours. No, and then they forget that the highest, like the most educated demographic in this country are African American women. So they really got us confused. They highly got us confused. But we also have to think about his coin, his Bitcoin, and his wife's Bitcoin. And then a lot of the people around him who started their own Bitcoin since he has gotten into the White House. He has made, I think they said like 25% of his money has been since he's been in office. And then, like, a lot of the dealings with other countries, there's a catch, especially when it comes to his businesses. There's always a business connection with a lot of the things that he does. But you have the Republican Party who keeps uplifting and saying he's great and amazing, he's doing all these awesome things. But then at the same time, you see how people are suffering and you see how people are going hungry. You see how people are being, like, even with, I'd even bring up ICE and how our, the he, like, gave so much money for that department. And then how, like, over 100 American citizens have been caught up in it. And even the one, I think he was a construction worker, 2 weeks in a row, they picked him up. And he kept saying, I just got picked up last week. I am an American citizen. They didn't care. And then we had, like, if he loses his job, I mean, I'm just hoping like, a lot of these bosses are, like, considerate or patient. Or are some of these bosses, they're like, yeah, once they get fired, I can replace them with a white person. Like, it's like people don't understand the racism that a lot of us go through. Black women, we do. That's why we try to warn you. But a lot of the, like, especially the Asian community, they hate us so much. But they hate us so much. Even with colleges, they were like, you guys don't deserve to go to the Harvards and, like, all of the elite colleges because you're not smart enough. So then they took that away from us. They took that away from us, but now it's funny because now the percentage of Asian Americans or Asians in the prestigious schools have gone down. I think it's about the same, or it might have even increased by a couple percentage for African Americans. So that's the funny part. It's like everyone keeps trying to hurt us. When I say everybody, like, everybody keeps trying to hurt us. But especially if they're people of color, they end up hurting themselves. The Hispanic community, they thought they were going to hurt us. They are like, they were raised to, and this is, I've said this so many times, but all around the world, almost every other country, almost every country that has people of color or black people, they celebrate their independence from the colonizers. But then for some reason, especially people of color, especially people of color, they love the colonizers, like the ancestors. And it's like they praise them and uplift them. And even if they do something terrible and awful, it's okay. You're a colonizer. It's okay. You're white. It's okay. But if a black person did the same thing, if a black person did the same thing, especially when it comes to the mugshots, yeah, because I'm going to do a whole episode on that because it's really funny. Because especially within the internet, whenever you see a Caucasian person getting, a mugshot, and okay, there's one exception. There was that mixed looking pretty boy years and years ago, whatever, who ended up with a modeling contract, but that's kind of a different from what I'm talking about now. But you have the orange guy, the orange, yeah, him. And then there was that one mom influencer. Once they got arrested, they had more attention, more prestige, more influence and influencers. The power of a colonizer having a mugshot is different from when, if you're an African American and have a mugshot. It's like night and day. Just absolutely night and day, no comparison whatsoever. And it's pretty sad and pathetic, but it is what it is at the same time. And the same thing, like, even with money, a lot of the colonizers, they keep wanting to blame African Americans for not like being at their level financially and everything, and even with education in some parts. But then they don't realize throughout history, they have trained the brains and the minds of like not only African Americans, but people of color. It's like they always say that African Americans aren't supposed to have as much. They're not as smart. They're lazy. They don't work as hard. They don't do this. They don't do that. But then when African Americans do show out with their business or with their money or house or possessions or job position, or like, oh, that you only got that because of you only got that because you're black. I mean, that's what they say. That's what they do. It's like they tore down and massacred my people over and over and over again until it's like they instilled like, you are never going to be good enough. We're going to make sure you're not going to be good enough. If you have a beautiful town, we will mess it up. That's what they have always done. And then you're not allowed to go to school. But then we started our own K through 12. So then they were like, segregation. Because we don't want you with us. Segregation, also the Jim Crow and everything like that. Then universities. My people wanted to go to universities, so then they had to build new ones. But then we don't teach this stuff in school. We don't teach this stuff in school. Some might ask, what does this have to do with money? Education is money. What is who you know, but what you know at the same time. So at the end of the day, just know like health insurance and the power of your health, the power of your mind, there's so many things that have financial substance that the Republican Party they're now trying to squeeze every cent out of you. So be careful. Okay? Because I'm going to talk about health, like, because remember, I talk about my like medical nightmares. So that's a different day for a different story. But thank you so much for listening to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human and you're human too.